G'day and welcome back to the official SuperCoach podcast. It's your boy Dossie here. We're talking breakouts and burnmen on this show, ripping through some players we think will have a big breakout year and maybe one that could let you down in your starting team. A reminder that you can get early access to SuperCoach right now at the moment on January 11 when we are recording, right through to mid to late January. So still a little bit of time, get a little bit of a head start on the rest of the competition through SuperCoach Plus. Your SuperCoach Plus subscription gets you access to Team Picker right now, as well as everything throughout the season, including breakevens, score projections, and the rest. Let's get into it though. I'm here with a full cohort of SuperCoach experts, including the Phantoms Lair's very own Simeon Thomas-Wilson, Code Sports AFL reporter. How are you, Sim?
I'm good, Dossie. How are you?
I'm going well, mate. Going very well. January, have you had a play with Team Picker, Sim? Surely you're up to about your fifth version, 5 names.
No, I haven't actually fully picked your team.
Poor form from Sim.
Yeah,
hopefully we can say something different. For Patch over in Melbourne, joining us from the Breaking Even podcast. How are you, Patch?
G'day, Dossie. I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm very keen to get stuck in, keen to rant about some burnmen, and I guess there's other things we're doing on this pod. I'm not quite across them, but I've got my rant ready to go. So happy to be here.
Beautiful. I mean, breakouts are my favourite part of every season, so keen to spit some fire on this episode. And someone else who's ready to spit some fire in the preseason, Al Paton. How are you going?
I'm going great, thank you, Dossie. I have had plenty of time to play around with a team picker. I did put a team out maybe the day after it opened, and it's fair to say my team looks very different now than what it did then. So, as you say, always a really fun time of year to play around with some of these guys who you know, in best case scenarios, we could have a whole team of $300,000-$400,000 guys who will end up being 105, 110 scoring primos.
Yeah, Al, I want your opinion just quickly before we get into breakouts as well. When we look at breakouts, these are the sort of the players that could make or break your season in many ways. You're looking for a person to take a big step up, but in general, on the players that we will discuss on the show coming forward, what are the sort of things that you would look for a player if you're looking for a breakout season coming up in the next year?
Yeah, well, the guys I think that we're going to be talking about today are your sort of generally maybe second, third, fourth, fifth year. Even we have seen some late breakouts, but around that time in their career where they're just sort of coming into their prime, maybe they've. I think probably the key thing I'd be looking for is the role. So, I'm sure someone will mention Harvey Langford today, but that's, the obvious kind of thing where you've got a guy who's come in, showed a bit early on, and then you think there's an opening where he can suddenly get a better role where his scoring can really spike. So, I think whether it's halfback or midfield, inside mid, they're the sort of key roles that we're looking for in SuperCoach, and then you're just natural progression. It's an interesting one this year, I think, because there's a lot of talk around some older guys who are, there's some really good prices out there, which I'm sure we'll get to on other shows. Your Adam Treloars, Darcy Parish, guys like this. Is there room? Sometimes it's easier to pick someone like that who, even though, there's plenty of question marks beside them, but, we have seen them do it before. You feel a little bit more secure picking them than someone who maybe hasn't ever done it before, but these can be the ones that can really set you apart if you can get them right.
Absolutely. And I've provided you guys with a bunch of different definitions because I wanted to go through 3 types of different breakouts, because I do think that we throw the word breakout a little bit willy-nilly in the SuperCoach community, and I wanted to sort of separate them into different types of breakouts to really dig deep into some of the ones that maybe are just emerging out of nowhere and some of the guys that are in that established bracket that could take their game to the sort of 100+ mark. So the OG breakout is first, Al, and I will define them as we go. This is just a player who's never made the leap before, never sort of gone up to even into the premium territory of 80 or anything like that. Someone that is priced cheaper could be picked for us, but not in that rookie price bracket either. So there is a bit of an element of risk to it, and it is an OG breakout, someone you can think can really push 20+ points average, be really valuable, and be a selection for us. But in that breakout category, not a Mateus Philippou kind of guy, because they're too cheap for us. There's no risk involved, Al. Who have you got for us as the OG breakout?
Yeah, no, the risk definitely is part of the fun when it comes to these sort of picks. But if you can keep them maybe under that 400k range, then maybe they don't have to be a season-long keeper, but you can get, half a season out of them, make a heap of money, enjoy the ride. But I'm glad that maybe pulled some strings here and got in first, because I know there's a few other people who are very big fans of this guy. But I'm going to say Dan Curtin at the Crows, averaged 72.5 last year over the whole season. So that's what he's priced at, $392,000. 1,000. He is a mid only, which when the positions came out, I thought that'll take him out of the sort of thinking of a lot of people because he was forward eligible last year. But really, we all sort of took notice. It was round 16 to 21 last year over about a 4 or 5 week period where he averaged 109.5, which just sort of showcase what he can do. Obviously very early in his career, hard to sustain that for a whole season, but can he jump this year from 72.5 certainly into the 90s and potentially higher? And if you can sustain that for long enough, make a heap of money, and then decide what you do with him after that. But I would probably defer to Sim is on the show what the Crows midfield is going to look like. What is Dan Curtin's role going to be? Obviously we'll see a bit of this over the preseason, but the finals didn't go the way Adelaide would have liked. The midfield particularly was sort of exposed for Jordan Dawson and then sort of who's in there after that. They tried to get Christian Petrarca, didn't happen. So is Curtin the guy who could go in and just add a bit of an X factor, give them something in the midfield? And based on the just photos we've seen coming out of pre-season training, he looks absolutely enormous, which we do love that, burning up the track in pre-season. And I'll just leave it with the quote from high performance manager Ian McKeown. How does he pronounce it? But his quote was, "Seeing Dan Curtin, who is incredible in every aspect of what he's able to do athletically." He was one of the guys who's really standing out to him early in the pre-season. So would love him as a pod, mid-price, risky type pick. But Sim, where do you think he actually plays this year?
Yeah, inside midfield. Finish the plan.
All right, good. Tick.
Yeah, tick the boards. He's playing inside mid.
Just in terms of size and strength and being able to play anywhere, just from those picks, just Pavlich vibes for me. Sorry, Sim, didn't mean to cut you off.
All good. No, he's playing inside mid. Murray Davis, the director of coaching, last week, he said the plan is to get Dan Curtin into the midfield more around stoppages. He kind of had that really good period last year, but then wasn't a stoppage until the semi-final against Hawthorn. So, no, he's going to be one of the players they're going to look at to, bridge the gap of the midfields of, after they got beaten up by Collingwood and Hawthorn. I think he's going to get a lot of time in there because they're massively excited about him.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Simmer. I know every time you come back from Crows training, you get a question from me about how's Dan looking.
He's looking good.
How's the big fella looking? Because I need to know as well.
He's huge.
I love that pick. Well, let's talk to you 5 names. Who is your OG breakout pick?
All right, so, I think one thing you always want to look at as well is opportunity, especially with some teams. I think this guy he's going to have a massive opportunity in front of him. Harvey Langford, Melbourne, 384,000, mid only. Clayton Oliver goes, Petrarca goes. You have to play. He has to. Surely he's going to get more inside time. He can score pretty well. What we've seen when he does get a fair bit on the ball, and I think he's just a breakout candidate. Easy.
Yeah, opportunity, as you said, playing bit of the wing, bit of sort of all over the place last year. Hopefully, gets that inside role. Yeah, it is. These are the risky picks until we see it in preseason. But if he's locked in preseason, I think a lot of coaches will be very interested in Harvey Langford. Patch, who's your player that you think will be a classic breakout candidate?
I think looking through the list and looking through how you defined it, there was one guy that immediately leapt out as this category was designed for him, but I'll leave him to you. I'll be very polite and leave him.
No, you can honestly take him. I've got someone else.
You got someone else? You don't have Harley Reid just locked in the gun and ready to go.
Go for it, Patch. I've spoke about him too much already.
I mean, look, we know what Harley Reid can do. We know, the potential is there. Came off a difficult year last year. You'd think he's going to learn a heap from that. Should have more experience around him. Elliot Yeo, we know his injury history, but if he's fit and firing and playing through that team, I think that gives him a boost. Got a few other younger players around him now. Willem Dersma's over there, and they're decent mates. So I think he's a really good shout. Otherwise, I'm keeping a very close eye on Josh Rochelle at the Crows. I don't know. I think they want to get him in the midfield, but I don't know how they cover themselves up forward. Yeah, Sim, if they're choosing between, they've got to keep one of Rochelle or Rankin forward. Rankin's the one you put in the midfield, right, ahead of Rochelle?
Yeah, I'd say that. I reckon they'll swap him around a bit. I think you might get some more time. I reckon they're going to roll, they'll roll him in through there at times. That leads another player they rate highly. I think, what did Nick said last year? He said, we reckon he'd be one of the best players in the competition. So, his preseason again has been excellent. Like, you kind of have this feel that he's going to have a breakout in footy terms. Actually, real game terms, so maybe that's going to translate to SuperCoach. It's just this kind of feeling around it, like, we're going to find out more when they actually start doing match sim and all that. But so far, like, yeah, he's been really impressive this preseason there.
Awesome insights there. I'm going to go with player from your mob there, Patch. So you've taken the Weagles, man. I'm going for a Don, and I'm talking Nick Bryan. Now, I'm not sure. Ooh. There's sort of a discussion as to whether he will be ready for round one. So I think it's going to be early rounds, possibly. So we'll just keep an eye on the Bombers injury report early preseason for that. But I'm shaping up for him to be in my team at some point this year, hopefully early in the season. Career high average of 71 in 2024. So he's never gone to that super premium level. He's only priced at 257,600. And we know in SuperCoach that rucks are absolute premium, top of the crop at scoring. So if he gets the opportunity this year, talking about all the opportunity in the world, Sam Draper's gone to Brisbane, Todd Goldstein's retired, and I don't think Vicentini's quite ready to take the reins himself there either. So I think Nick Bryan, 24 years old, he's re-signed with the Bombers until 2027 now. He's averaged 100 plus in the VFL every year since 2021, including 145 and 135 averages, SuperCoach averages, that is, in the last couple of years before making his sort of almost breakout year in 2025 before going down with the ACL. So he's never had that solo ruck role at AFL level either, given Sam Draper was in the team. So if he is ready to go early this season, I'll be framing as having him in my starting side, and if not, I'll be looking at bringing him in when he does get healthy. So
R2, does he?
Look, I mean, if he's ready to go, I might go there again. I might do something a bit funky in the ruck line again. So
I mean, you're not picking up R3, so surely Luke Jackson, Nick Bryan, R1, R2.
Flex is open too, boys. There is the flex position as well. So yeah, but he's one to consider, and one that we should probably keep on our radars regardless, as he sort of comes into the team if he's not right to go from the very start of the season.
He does have to knock over my GOAT R3 from last year, Lockie Blackiston, for that role though. So
that is true.
What about Vigo Vicentini though?
I just don't think he's ready to take the mantle. Like Nick Bryan's 24, sort of had a few years in the system. I mean, Vigo,
he's the one they've invested in, surely.
That's the way it feels to me. But who knows? Maybe they do a split ruck roll and it ruins both of them anyway. So still a lot to play out in the preseason. He's definitely one I've got my eye out though on, an OG type of breakout candidate to jump up into being a value pick for us in SuperCoach. The next breakout category I've got is blue chip bound. Now, I will throw to Patch for this one to start with, because I know you've got a nice little name also from the Bombers to talk about. But this breakout category is someone who we think will take a big leap into blue chip premium status. So they might have already broken out per se, but we're talking about going from those 80 ranks, 80 points, which is great for draft, but not amazing for our classic team, jumping into the premium 100 plus type of breakout. So Patch, who have you got for us?
It'll be no surprise to anyone that the Nuff alarm is coming straight out, and I'm going to Archie Roberts. I've spoken about him till the cows come home. Even though Sim probably got him earlier, mentioned him earlier on the lair. He last 4 rounds of the season, he went 80, 98, 101, 94. I think they'll give him the Nick Martin role. I think he will be trusted to, get the ball around the ground at the Bombers. I think he'll be fantastic. And the other one I had in this category who I'm really interested in as well, there's been a lot of Harvey Langford chat, but I'm more interested in, from Melbourne, in Trent Rivers at 446k, has gone 82, 86, 84 in the last 3 seasons, is a midfielder, but has been playing in the back line. He's defence eligible, which makes him a lot more appealing in my eyes. And obviously with, the Demons looking like a new side this year, I'm really intrigued as to how he'll go. So there's every chance both of them start in D2, D3, D4 for me come round 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty annoyed, Patch, because that was my player, Trent Rivers.
Here's mine too.
So we got 3 Trent Rivers.
Got him.
Wow, yeah, I agree though. The Harvey Langford chat has been big in the SuperCoach community already early in preseason, and for great reason. His price point is much more sort of achievable for a lot of coaches to fit in their side. But with Trent Rivers' defensive status, I agree. I think he's going to run through the middle this year as well, and it's something that they were going to actually do. I was looking up some old news articles. The plan was to play him in the midfield last season before in the preseason, and then they had injuries to their defence and he had to just go back to his old role. So he was training as a midfielder. He's done it for 2 preseasons in a row, and this season will be the year I think that he really does elevate his game. So we'll five names. Do you want to round it out if he was also your player? Any final comments on Trent Rivers?
Yeah, no, everything's said. I think it's a good opportunity. Surely he's going to get midfield time. We've seen when he does actually get midfield time, he can score well. I think it was last year, he got CBAs and really actually can score. So, yeah, like it.
Al, do we have a 4th Trent Rivers pick here, or have you got someone else for us?
Well, I mean, there's someone else. I probably won't mention him here because it's a bit boring. We'll talk about him, I'm sure, on other shows. But if you want to just fill your whole backline with sort of 450k guys, you've got Colby McKercher as well, who's priced at 83, and I think we all expect he will go better than that. Although there were some reports the other day he was training with the midfield group, which I'm not super happy about. I'd much rather him in the back line taking kick-ins and getting heaps of ball down there. But, I think he'll be a pretty popular pick. So there's plenty of value in the back line. But I'm going to sort of be a bit a cheat as well and name a couple of guys. But the one who actually fits the rules that Dossie set out, I've got another one that doesn't, but is Marcus Windhager at the Saints. So mid-only, again, a little bit tricky, but priced at 82 coming into his 5th season. He averaged 71 the year before that, so just a little bit of steady improvement. But over the last 9 rounds last year, he averaged 97. So I think that's when sort of Ross Lyon took the shackles off a little bit. Used him as a tagger and some various different roles, but just let him play as a bit of an all-out sort of inside mid, which we have talked about already. We know we love that. He's got pretty strong guy who can win his own footy. The scoring potential's there. It'd just be interesting to see what happens with the Saints midfield, how it all plays out. Obviously, there's been a lot of change there. Your boy Sam Flanders has to come in, but Jack Steele's gone. Does Naz play in there all the time? So we'll see how it all comes together. But yeah, I really love him as a player, and definitely someone I'll be penciling in, trying to pick him up when I can later, maybe in a draft. But am I brave enough to pick him in Classic? Let's wait and see. I mean, the CBAs, I did look up some stats on that, and they didn't really help at all because he had 87% CBAs in round 12 last year and scored 112. And then in round 18, he had 0% and scored 152. So I don't think that's going to guide me too well. But I do love him as a player. Yeah,
that's a very unique pick. To throw in there with the Saints midfield. It'll be very interesting to see how they sort of do shape up. But yeah, not a name I'd heard yet, Al. So really, really enjoy that one. Given we had 3 Trent Rivers, I'll throw in one more name.
Oh, no, I've got a name, Dossie.
Okay, 5 names. You give us yours first.
Yeah, no, I've got a name. It's different. But, this guy had an absolute ripper of a final series, and we loved contract year. Zach Bailey.
Whew. All right.
Also, okay.
Can he average 87? Can he average 105 as a forward? I don't know. But if you wanted to maybe see, what's going on with Lockie now. I know you got Will Ashcroft, the Ashcroft brothers in the midfield, but he came in there was electric in finals, has forward status. Could he be one of the primo forwards this year? I think there's a potential where he could.
I like it. Another player I hadn't really considered as well. The contract year as well. We're talking all about Zach Butters, but how about a Zach Bailey? I don't mind it as well there, Sim. I'll just throw one last name in this sort of blue chip bound, and this is also, I'd say, I prefer picking your Colby McKerchers and, as we've mentioned before, our Rivers or even an Archie Roberts as well. But this guy, if he hits his straps, could be a premium midfielder in SuperCoach. From North Melbourne as well, George Wardlaw. Had to give him the shout out for Phantom. He'd kill me if I didn't. He's always been a huge Wardlaw truther. He's probably going to talk about him heaps in the preseason, but his points per minute and his scoring ability is on par with some of the best midfielders in the comp. It's just he needs to get his body right. He needs to be able to stay on the park. He plays pretty low time on ground, given the tank, presumably. But in his last 4 games last year, finally came back, had some concussion concerns and stuff earlier in the season, came back to average 100 in his final 4 games of the season, playing a decent amount of midfield time and staying on the park. So for me, George Wardlaw could be a huge candidate to go into the premium territory if he does get his body right and have a full preseason under his belt. Al?
Yeah, no, I do like that. Again, yeah, like you say, Phantom special from, I think he's had him in his breakouts for the last 2 or 3 seasons, and he'll probably have him again this year. But again, we talk about winning your own footy is great for SuperCoach, and he can definitely do that. It's just, whether he can stay on the park. The other one that I did want to just throw out quickly, because I haven't heard him talked about really at all this season. I don't think he technically fits this category because he really did break out last year, but could go to another level, I think, this year. And sort of surprising that just hearing nobody talking about him, considering what he delivered, and that is Sam Darcy. And he has, pretty awkward draw, an early bye with the Dogs, but he's priced at 95. That includes an injury game where he only scored 16. You take that out automatically, he's already over 100. How high can he go in games last year? He had 141, 144, 150. Sky's the limit. I think he'd be a massive pod. Love him as a player. He's been really fun to own in SuperCoach as well. So, yeah, he's going to be probably hard to start given the Dogs draw, but definitely one that I'll probably want to try and get at some stage.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because he left a sour taste in many coaches' mouths last year. They thought he was going to come home like a steam train, and then many people picked him up cheap after the knee injury, and then he came back and probably didn't deliver to the heights that many people would hope. But like you're saying, his potential to go massive is unbelievable. The Wemby of the AFL, as many people are saying.
That's Harry Ram, mate.
Oh, yes, your boy, Port Adelaide lad.
On that fact, actually, I was going to say, for some reason, what's the day? It's 3:48 SA time on 11th of Jan 2026. For some reason, I think Harry Ram could have a year for Port.
Wow.
Could maybe get games. I don't know. It's got this weird feeling after seeing him pre-season train on Friday. Like, he's grown to 205. He's grown 3 centimetres over summer. He's looking like... I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing games.
Wow, okay. You heard it here first on the official SuperCoach podcast. Harry Ram, also nicknamed Wemby, which is where it got from. I think his teammates call him Wemby, so that's a huge one there, Sim. Love that for a little pod as well. But yeah, Sam Darcy, you're right, Al. No one is really sort of talking about him at this point of year, so it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, the final breakout category we've got here is Blackbookers. Now, this is just a player no one is talking about. That might be the guy that Sim just dropped on the pod here as well.
I've got another one, actually.
A guy that nobody's talking about, that you've got a close eye on pre-season. It might be just your guy that you really have a lot of faith in. Again, not these rookie sort of players, but these could be in that sort of rookie price category a little bit, but just that nobody's talking about, and could be a little sneaky option come round one. So we'll throw to you, Patch, first. Who have you got away in your little black book there for a potential breakout season?
So I've got another D in this category. There's been a lot of chat about like forward rookies and how, you've got Todd Marshall and, Logan McDonald and Max King and a bunch of these guys who are in that like 150 plus price range who, will be interesting to see how many of them end up in our sides. But at the other end of the ground at 145k, I am locked into this guy at this stage, and until I see evidence that he's not going to be there, best 23, I think, is a Monty for him. Andy Moniz Wakefield did an ACL the end of 2024, so we didn't see him at all last year. He played I think it was 6 games in 2024 before injuring himself. Didn't set the world on fire. He was okay, kind of not really playing a massive distributor role or really getting a lot of the pill, but with at that price, with Judd McVee gone, we've spoken about Trent Rivers possibly moving into the midfield. Salem might move out. If he can get some pill at 145k, he's locked in, and
Jake Bauer's injured as well, I think.
Jake Bauer's out, for like 6 months or something, isn't it? It's a long injury.
And his VFL numbers were quite good from memory, which I don't have them in front of me. I don't have them written down anywhere, but I remember looking at his VFL numbers going, if they're going to give him the pill, they seem to trust him at VFL level. There's a chance that then happens at AFL level. So he's the guy that I'm locked away on. Put him in.
Huge.
All aboard.
Yeah, to Al's point, I just quickly looked it up, so I wasn't telling Porkies there, but Bowie isn't available expected to be available for the first 12 rounds of 2026, and he was like their main distributor back there last year. Steep questions on Stephen May as well, who takes a lot of kickings. Yeah, huge. Like that one there, Patch. Al, who have you got for us tucked away in your little black book there, ready for a breakout this year?
Well, I did warn you before we came on here to queue up the Nuff Alarm, and this is not a guy that people obviously will have heard of him, but I don't think too many people will be looking at starting him in SuperCoach this year, and that is Sammy Lawler at the Tigers. He's priced at $298,000, which is at a 55 average. He only played 11 games last year. Obviously had a few injury problems. He scored 4 in his last game against the Cats. So obviously, would have hurt his price and stuff a little bit. But it's just, how far can he go in year 2? The stuff coming out of Richmond preseason, he just looks absolutely ripped. And watching some talk about enough alarm stuff, watching a couple of replays of particularly that round 1 game against Carlton last year, just some of the stuff that he did with just setting up teammates for, putting them into positions to score. And I think they've got someone really special there if he can keep his hamstrings together. He did also score 112 against Brisbane, was his best score last year. So he's doing that against some pretty handy opposition. I'm not 100% sure, what the midfield time will be for him, but I think they will try and get him in there more if his body's up for it. So, love him as a player. He'd be a really fun pick. Obviously, I'm completely biased. The only other little tick I'll put in his column is that when the fixture came out, one of the first things we look for is which teams have that standalone bye. And this year it's Richmond and GWS, which is they're probably not the most friendly ones for Supercoach. Obviously the Giants we like, but they have an early bye as well. Richmond doesn't, so there's only, I don't know how many Richmond players we're going to be looking for. Richmond primos, there's not a heap of them. But might be another little reason you could sort of scrill him away. And he's got probably the friendliest draw of anyone in the comp.
And he's got a new number.
He does, yes. They have been putting that out on the socials.
Yes, Dusty.
And that bloke went okay. I think we can count that as evidence, can't we?
Yeah, look, that I love. As a proud keeper league owner of Sam Lawler, I'm very happy to hear that, Al. And yeah, I think that's the perfect sort of second year player where, he's shown great signs, but not everything kind of went his way. Still could have a improved role this year. To your point, playing midfield, and is at a sort of risky-ish price point, but also he was drafted, top for a reason. He's an absolute gun. So,
but he's probably cheap enough that he doesn't have to be a keeper. He could average 80 for 8 weeks and make a heap of money. So,
yeah.
Well, I love him obviously.
I'm a big fan too. Love that pick. All right, Sim, you've got one more black book for us, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just shout out to actually tell another one. This isn't my guy, but it's another guy I keep a good eye on. Jai Tully in Melbourne. He might. I saw something that he might be playing, they might try and have him as a little backup ruck to Maxi.
What?
Whoa!
Somebody, I don't know. Maybe I'd hallucinated it or I had a fever dream or something. But I'm pretty sure he's tall enough, so he can give Max a chop out on the ground. So that's he's cheap. He might actually big body midfielders. We love that. This is the other guy is and. You have to see what's going on with his role. But I think one day this guy could be one of the premier midfielders in the competition. Oliver Dempsey at Geelong. I think if he ever I think he's at some point he's going to get. I think he'll get inside time at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it's going to be that's next year. I think that's going to be his development. Chris Stott's kind of said that. He could be an absolute gun Supercoach scorer if he got on the inside. Can run all day, gets goals, can get the ball. Yeah, Oliver Dempsey.
It'd just be interesting if they ever move him away from that wing, given how dominant he is on that position.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's the thing. I think Chris Stott has said his progression will be at some point
to
play more inside, but I don't know when it's going to be. But he's the guy I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching closely.
I've got a player from Carlton, actually. So I was surprised to look at some of these numbers and very impressed with what I saw. We're all talking about Jagger Smith this preseason for great reason. This guy's going to be a gun and he'll be locked away in my team as well. But one of his best mates here, Cooper Lord, at $324,000. I've got my eye on him as well. Finished the season with an 88 average in his final 8 games. Now that includes a game where he was the sub and scored 27 in just over a quarter, and he had a 74 in the final game of the season when he was concussed at just half time. So if you look at his final games of the season, he had 106, then a 27 playing just a quarter, 111, 121, and then 74 in half a game. So I think we should really be keeping our eye on Cooper Lord this season coming in. I know that we've now got another player to put into the midfield mix in Jagger Smith this year. Hopefully Sam Walsh is injury free as well, and there's a few guys that can roll through there. But just look out for Cooper Lord. Maybe it's more of a draft sleeper that we can look at him for, but I'm very interested in how his season coming up is going to go as well. So Cooper Lord for Carlton, keep an eye out on him. He is in my black book. Now let's get into Burnmen. This is a player that we think could burn you if you start with them in round one, a player that won't live up to expectations from last year and maybe drops in average or hurts you in some way, shape or form. Going to throw to you, Alf, to kick us off. Who is your burn man for 2026?
Well, I think you might have, without giving too much away on what happens behind the scenes, might have wanted to scrap this segment, but I said, no, we have to do this because we have to mention Jason Horne-Francis, my man, who I was adamant all last preseason that I wasn't going to pick him, and then I caved at the last second, and I did pick him, which was the wrong decision, and then I traded him out, which was the wrong decision, and then I traded him back in, which was the wrong decision. So, absolute definition of a burn man, and he's kind of made it easy for me this year by being a mid only, so price at 511k, his average is about 95. I mean, I can definitely see him improving that a bit, but yeah, plenty of others ahead of him in the queue. So yeah, he hasn't entered my thoughts at all, even despite Port. I think I'll be picking a few Port guys because the draw is great, but yeah, I'm not going near the horny one this year.
Oh dear. Well, given that you seemingly made the wrong decision to bring him in and bring him out at the wrong times last year, maybe this means he's going to go big again. So maybe we should all be jumping on. Any word on him out at Port trainings, though? Sim, 5 names early. I know that he's had a bit of an injury setback already, though, hasn't he, with the surgery?
Yeah, he's back running. So he wasn't training on Friday because he's at a funeral. So, but he'll be back to train on Monday. I'm pretty sure. Started around over Christmas. From what I've told, yeah, he's fine.
All right, 5 names. Who is your burn man for 2026?
I'm going to go with... just to annoy Phantom. Oh, Dane Zilker. Surely he's
going 39.
Yeah, he's not going to. He's not going to average 102. He's not going to average 102.6. He's the day. You know, like who knows how many games he's actually going to play as well. You know, the aging body, but yeah, I just think he's going to go. His average is not going to be that. I think that's a pretty easy one.
I wonder how many people would seriously pick him in Classic. I know he'll be picked up in draft. I wonder how many people will honestly pick him in Classic. I mean, because he was highly owned last year, given just how good he was. But it will be, yeah, he'll be a weird one. I don't think he'll be highly owned, but you're right. I think Father Time has to come for Dane Zorko eventually, although he has proven us all wrong so far. So keen to see how he goes. But Patch, who is your burn man?
I'm sticking in Brisbane, and I had both barrels level at this guy by halfway through the season after I'd taken him number 1 in the Office League draft ahead of a bunch of other players who I should have gone with instead, and then I picked him in my Classic team because of the Cyclone situation, and suddenly he didn't have a bye in the middle of the season, and then every time I captained him, he scored 50. And every time I needed him to deliver, he could not do it. And I could not get rid of Lachie Neale for all of the season. And it drove me insane. So he was already in the barrel as a burn man. Come the end of the season, wanted nothing to do with him. You've got the up and coming, the Ashcrofts, Marshall. They've got all of these young, good players. They've added another one in the off season, and
then got to get in there.
Yeah, and then a month after that, the off-field stuff reared its head, and we don't need to get into the details of that. But I'm sure that will be. I'm sure we could, but I won't be touching that with a 10-foot pole, and I won't be touching Lachie Neale with a 10-foot pole because I think there's just enough going on that it will all end in tears if it hasn't already. So, yes.
No, look, you guys have all gone with your little mild, not even spicy takes here for the burn man. Nobody's coming out firing.
Dossie, this is a grudge segment. This is to air grievances.
This is not Don't worry, Dossie's coming in hot for the rest of the squad. Bailey Smith, burn man in 2026. 118, that's a career high for him. He's got to replicate that again now. He's an absolute cardio machine and a gun, we know that. But last year, he was easy to own. Every single person had him. He missed, 2 or 3 games with those laid outs last season. The Geelong factor comes into play here as well. When he is now not going to be owned by every single team, he'll be much more of a unique selection than he was last season. You got to deal with not just the Geelong factor, but the Bailey Smith factor, whether or not the panic that we all went through at times last year, wondering whether or not he'll get up. He played a heap of games, don't get me wrong. I think it was, 20 out of a possible 24 or even 21. But I think the inclusion as well, you've got James Worpel coming in there for a bit of help in the midfield. You've also got possibly Tanner Bruin back in that midfield as well. It's going to affect some of those contested possession numbers. He's still a Jet, but is he going to average close to that 118? I would suspect that we see a little bit of a dip from Bailey Smith. And whether that's like an 8 point, 5 point, 10 point, I just don't think he's going to be return as great a value as he did last year. And given that we could see a possible laid out here or there, like we always seem to do with him, I think he will be a burn man in 2026 in SuperCoach Classic, of course, we're talking about here. Al?
Yeah, fair. No, I agree with that. Yeah. It's just an absolute spike season, and obviously last year we were able to pick him in the forward line, which is a giant luxury, which we can't do this year. So a lot more competition for those top end spots, and he's a hell of a lot more expensive than he was last year too. So those laid outs and things, you can kind of cop it when you're only paying $300,000 for somebody, but when you're paying well over 600, you want someone who's going to play every week, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is our Burnmen for season 2026, Al, and that was also our breakouts. Pretty happy with those players.
I introduced a new segment right at the very end, a new category in SuperCoach, which is, we don't normally go here because it's pretty harsh, but the rookie burn man. Because last year, I'm going to throw some names at you. These guys are all rookie priced again. Elijah Sardis.
Yep.
Yep.
Mitch Nevitt.
Nah.
Henry Huswaite.
Oh, yeah, we'll go back to the pencil. Yeah, the pencil. We've got some love for the pencil for sure.
Yep, Sid Draper as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting one. But, all those guys. I mean, the talent's still there. I saw Dan, our friend of the pod, Dan Batten, talking up Mitch Nevitt at preseason training again. But, he's not going to suck us in this year. But, I hope all those guys get a bit more opportunity, but it didn't quite work out. So, I mean, the other thing there is there an interesting little lesson? Because I think we all thought certainly with those first two guys, you're paying a little bit extra for them as rookies, but you think, oh, well, they're safe, best 22 type picks. But, it didn't quite happen. So, might just keep that in the back of the mind this year.
Yeah, good little valuable lesson to leave us on there, Al, as well as we finish this pod. But next podcast, we'll be looking at some updated ownership numbers from Team Picker before the official release of SuperCoach coming very soon. That is the teaser you get. Until then, though, get on to Team Picker. Still enjoy getting a head start on the competition with SuperCoach Plus. Jump in there, enjoy. Let us know your breakouts or your burn men in the comments, whether that's on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube. Code Sports YouTube channel. Check us out over there, and we'll see you on the next show.